Welcome back, folks. You've made it back to Lot Talk, powered by Lotpop. I'm Chris Keene, one of your co-hosts, and joining me are my great friends, Mr. John Anderson and Mr. Ronaldo Leonard. We have a show for you today. Gentlemen, I'm excited about today. John, why don't you give the folks a little preview of what we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about your customers and how you're taking care of your customers, right? And so that's a lot of times in our industry, two things don't match up, right? How we talk about it a lot, Ronaldo and Chris, how many times we address, hey, if you had a customer stand on your lot and nobody waited on them, how long would it be before you threw a chair through the window, right? And we always hear it'd be 30 seconds, it'd be a minute, right? But a lot of times we don't see that mirror up to how we're taking care of our customers on our virtual lot. And we felt like that was a hot topic that we really need to bring to dealers' attention and talk about some of the ways that we can solve some of those issues and make sure. Listen, we quoted a stat the last time we were together on the podcast that the average customer is sending out 12 to 15 leads to, right? So you think about that, man. We think about ourselves, right? But when we get that lead, think about it. You got 13, 14 other dealers that now all of a sudden you're in competition with, right? And so how do we set ourselves apart from those other dealers? And that's what we want to talk about.
100%. You know, Ronaldo, when we were down at NADA and when we were thinking about, this episode and all the different things that dealer partners and future dealer partners came to our booth talking about, and we said, hey, the next podcast, this is what we're going to talk about. You came up with the title of today's episode. Why don't you share it with us? Come on, share it with us. What's the title?
Well, yeah, everybody gets excited about the Up Bus. And for those of you who have not been in the business as long as we have, the Up Bus is this mythical mode of transportation that all of these
it's not mythical. We got it.
No, well, I'm setting the stage, my man. Cool down, cool your jets. But it was this mythical vehicle that transported all the buyers to the dealership. So when I started in the business, you'd have guys that would sit out. We called it the point. And everybody imagined that this Up Bus would just come driving up and, you'd have your next 6 or 7 deals. And so through the brilliance of Jason Rice, one day, he saw an opportunity and created the Up Bus. And so we had it there on the lot. But when we were planning for this episode, I started to think about guys sitting there waiting on the Up Bus, but they're right in the middle of a cigarette. They got a heater going, or somebody's chewing on their breakfast burrito, and they missed the Up Bus. And so when we talk about the digital dealership, those leads are coming in, and we're not handling them properly. Then it's the same thing. It's the same thing because those leads are going not only your dealership, but going out to several others. And if you're not on it, and if you're not on your game, you miss the bus. So what other title would be, apropos of what we're discussing today?
Absolutely.
Yep.
What's cool, man, is that bus was created over a lunch.
Yep.
You guys remember we were talking over lunch, and the idea of that bus got popped out. And then what's been really cool is when people at NADA, guys that have been a long time in the business, they saw that thing. They were like, I finally found it. I finally found it.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves it. Everybody. And then, you got the occasional guy that want to come in and take a nap on it. But
hey, we didn't have that this year. You remember 2 years ago? Yeah. Hey, listeners, that's no joke. 2 years ago in Las Vegas, and oh Lord Jesus, if one of the listeners is that person, I'm sorry for outing you, but
I think we're safe.
I think we're safe. I think he had a flip phone, but
not sure social media is an issue there. So
yeah. So we use the Up Bus. If you haven't seen it, And if you want to see it, definitely my phone number is listed right there under my name for those that are watching. And if for those that just want to see it, I mean, you go to lottalkpodcast.com and you can find links to our up bus. But we literally in Las Vegas, I guess this guy might have stayed out too late the night before. I don't know. But we use the bus as a private meeting space. It's got couches and TV and computer stands. And lo and behold, I will never forget that. We walk in. I mean, at one point, guys, I'm not going to lie. At one point, I was going to like hold my phone underneath his nose to see if he was breathing.
Get the mirror out.
I thought the guy was dead.
Yeah.
But my man he was out. Cold. John, what was he on there for, like an hour and a half?
Yeah, I think it was close to an hour. Hey, listen, man, I've been out there. I've been out there before where I had no place to sit. And it was hilarious, but part of me doesn't blame him, man. I was looking for a place that I could hide myself. So yeah, he found a place to hide is all he did. So yeah.
Well,
at least he wasn't in the hallway at the hotel.
Right.
Hey,
and we don't
listen.
need to go.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna out you. I'm gonna out you on that one. Okay, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for another episode.
Appreciate you.
But why we were down at New Orleans at NADA 2025, which, mind you, had to be one of the craziest NADAs that we've ever. Listen, planes, almost trains, and automobiles, and we finally made it down there. I mean, I drive from Oklahoma. Ronaldo flies into Dallas. We zoom through, grab John, and then we drank like 87 Red Bulls, five-hour energy drinks. And if it would have been legal, we'd have been like hitting cocaine and Quaaludes.
Easy now.
Just to get down there. We made it. But
I'm just always going to say, I'm always just going to say, thank God for Buc-ee's and all that jerky. Papaw hooked us up.
Buc-ee's, baby. Come on.
Hey,
Buc-ee's is the Walmart of gas stations, baby. Come on.
Gotta love it.
Oh, it was fantastic there. But no, honestly and truly, thank you to the listeners that stopped by and saw us.
Yeah.
Thank you to the dealer partners that made the trip, that found a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hats off to you, because it was a true testament to you going down there, not to just throw down and party on Bourbon Street. You went down there for a purpose, and you went down there to educate and make sure that you're dialed in for 2025, which is another reason why we do this podcast, to help our dealer partners and our non-dealer partners get dialed in each and every day. So a lot of respect there. I mean, John, why don't you tell the listeners 30 seconds about that conversation we had with Bobby? That was a guy down there working.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see, especially when you're challenged, right? Like it was. The weather was challenging. The travel was challenging. Still had dealers coming in on Friday night, right? But they were determined to make it because they're looking for solutions that are going to help their operation. And yeah, we had a great discussion with Bobby Brister. I was talking to him on the floor. We were just having a casual conversation, and he started hitting me with, here's the reason why, we believe in you guys and we love you guys. And, I stopped the conversation. Hey, do you mind going and doing a video for us? Because, he referenced the fact that, here's a guy listen, I'm humbled by what he said, right? Because here's a guy that's been in the business a long time, right? And he had his own dealership and worked for some major players, works for one now, Heron Gear, right? And he said he's learned more in the last 2 years by working with us than he has previously. And that's high praise coming from a long-term veteran in the business. So that kind of stopped me in my tracks. And that's when I asked him if he'd be gracious enough to put that on a video. Yeah, absolutely. So when you have those conversations, with folks down there, you're able to spend a couple days and talk to dealers face to face instead of on these things, right? Video technology, when you can actually hear and see the passion they have, man, that's what excites you, right? That's what drives it, right? Because it's a way for us to give back to an industry. It's been so good for us. So yeah, that's the good stuff that happens while you're there, right? We go there for a reason, but when you're able to have those conversations and get personal with some folks, that's the good stuff.
That's my favorite version of Chris right there. You can't hear
it.
It
is my favorite version too. When he's talking and nothing's coming out, that's Ronaldo. You nailed it, brother. I'll take 24/7 of Chris like that, right there.
I love it. Yeah,
folks,
for you folks who can't see this, Chris is in his paint on the window, and I mean he's going off. He's on one of those patented Chris Keene rants.
He is.
And he's got no voice.
He's on a criticism, and there's no volume. So y'all that are listening, man, you're getting the perfect version of Chris Keene right now, brother. That's awesome.
You're gonna have to hop over it and see the video version. But John, just to kind of follow up on what you were saying, not only did we have an opportunity to visit with dealers that we've worked with and gather from their experience in the business, things that we could share with our audience here, but also the dealer partners that we work with on a daily basis. But the opportunity to get to visit with, some of the professionals in our industry that we share insights with, our partners like Frank Knox, Stacey Ellison, and I always love NADA because you have an opportunity to kind of mix the two. It's almost like a family reunion. We get together one time a year and just kind of trade. What are you seeing in the industry? How are things moving in your region? All of that, just that knowledge transfer is invaluable. But for folks who didn't miss it, we'll see you in Vegas next year.
Hey, Ronaldo, isn't it interesting? And Chris, isn't it interesting how just referring to what you're talking about, Ronaldo, isn't it interesting when you talk to those other industry professionals, how we all kind of see similar things along the same parallel, right? This industry is, as complex and as many moving pieces as there are to this industry.
Yep.
It really comes down to some blocking and tackling that typically we see not getting done. That's causing issues to filter down through operations, right? And it's interesting how it all aligns when you start talking to other industry professionals and they're telling you what they're seeing. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's just confirmation on things that we've been seeing as well, right? So it's very interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, because Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say, Ronaldo, you brought up
he's
Frank
back.
Knox.
He's back.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. Okay. I will not be denied.
Tie in, folks.
Buckle up, baby, because here we go. But no, you brought up our family, and that's all of our brothers and sisters out there in the industry. And we got to spend some time with a lot of those great folks like the Frank Knoxes and the Tommy Gibbs and Stacey Ellisons and the list goes on and on. But I think we would be remiss because I was talking about episode 13, but some people could be confused because we did a lot of our podcast live and we kept firing it up multiple times. So the count could seem off to some people, but here's why. Because some of those great conversations we had, not just with other industry experts, but also some great dealers out there. We fired up the podcast and put a lot of folks on the hot seat. We would be remiss if we didn't let our listeners know, if we didn't let the viewers know on YouTube and the listeners and viewers on Spotify and the listeners on Apple, that you can go back onto Facebook or LinkedIn and rewatch a lot of those. There was so much great content that we weren't sharing, that a lot of our industry partners and a lot of our peers from the retail side of the dealership, a lot of great insights they were sharing and a lot of great things that they were sharing to help better their business, which is why we do this. We want everybody to share that so you could grab those nuggets. I can't contain myself anymore, guys. The title, Ronaldo, you talked about it, and we have a really, really, really great set of information we're about to share here. So I'm going to give everybody, the listeners, the viewers, if you don't have a pen, get a pen. If you don't have your remarkable, get it out, because we have something extremely great to share with you so you don't miss the up bus in the digital dealership. Because as we've seen, the shopper index declining as it always does at this time. We have seen the days to retail turn decline, which means the shoppers that are out there are making decisions quicker, but only with the dealers that are being proactive. And John Anderson and Ronaldo Leonard have studied relentlessly since our great partners, Digital Airstrike, released this information over the last several days. They've been studying this forward and backward. I haven't had a chance to go through it as in depth as they have, but it's time that we show you guys another way to not miss the up bus in your digital dealership. Much love to Digital Airstrike for sharing and compiling this data. John, fire it away. Brett, share the screen for the viewers because they need to see this. Come on, John. Start preaching, baby.
Well, look, first of all, I need to give credit where credit's due as far as finding this. And it's one of our performance engineers, been with us a long time, is John Ruswick. He shared that in our our inner office channel amongst the other performance engineers, because the reason why he shared it is because, again, we start seeing common things that our dealers are having trouble improving upon. So John shared this, and I grabbed it the other day and looked at it, and it was, to me, it just resonated spot on, because it's something that I've been talking about for 2 or 3 months, because we've just seen it really. And when Jason decided to bring in the lead data portion of our tool, it's something that we've seen pretty routine. So when you look at some of these challenges that Digital Airstrike quoted with dealers and customers, right? 19% of dealers took over an hour to respond to a lead. This is an improvement, right? But it's still 19%. How many dealers do we have in the country? Think about that number. And it's still taking us over an hour to respond to a customer. So I'm going to stop there for a second. And I'm going to ask dealers or managers or salespeople that happen to either be listening to this or watching this. When we talk about these things, I want you to think about not only this is referring to your virtual lot, but I want you to think about your bricks and mortar, your physical lot as well. So let me ask you a question. You have a customer that walks in the front door or drives on your lot, gets out of their vehicle, and is looking at one of your units in inventory, and you're watching your watch. How long would it be before you broke something in the store or you screamed because a salesperson was not walking out to take care of that customer, right? And so 19% of dealers took over an hour to respond to a customer. 61% of dealers responded in 15 minutes or less. This is an increase. Responding faster should be the goal. So that's a good thing, right? 61% of dealers are responding, right? Look, again, I'm going to go back to that, Chris and Ronaldo, I'm going to go back to that stat, right? The average customer send out 12 to 15 leads. Okay. If you're not responding, guess what? Somebody's going to, right? And so the goal of this is, how do I set myself apart? And by setting myself apart, building value with that customer so that when they're ready to make a move, and we're going to get into a whole nother thing there, because, guys, not everybody makes a move within 14 days from your virtual lot to your physical lot, right? So when they're ready to make a move, if I'm the one that's consistently been in front of them, giving them good content, when they're ready to make a move, they're going to come to me, right? All you're doing here is you're banking customers. You're banking customers. If I'm taking care of people, right, not everybody's going to come to me right away, but if I'm consistently taking care of them, they're going to come to me because I'm doing more than a lot of dealerships out there are doing when I'm contacting my leads. And then 4% did not respond, a positive change from 9% in 2023. Leaving leads on the floor with no response is like throwing away money. Every lead should have a response. Listen, preach, right? Chris Ronaldo, what's the average cost of a lead nationwide? You guys remember?
It was $235, I believe.
Yeah, I rounded up to $250. So there you go, right? We don't take care of a customer that comes into our store. Let me ask the listeners and the viewers, right? If you come out of your office and saw $250 on the floor, how fast would you scramble to grab that money?
I'm embarrassed to say what I would do for $250.
Ronaldo, the old days of Texas Tech as a defensive back would come out in you, wouldn't they?
Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And it's amazing that, because it's not a tangible $250, two Benjis and a 50, dealers are losing sight of the fact that they're just killing money. That's all we're doing.
I think we would be. We really need to remind everybody. Okay, take what John just shared with us here, the 19%, the 61%, the 4%. Okay, cool. We're reaching out. We're responding, but you need to go back and watch 3-4 episodes ago when we had Stacey Ellison on, the CRM queen.
Yep. Cool.
You can respond, but are you responding with quality or are you responding with quantity? So you're not one of these statistics here.
And that's a good point, Chris. And that's the next section that's talking about is, how and what are we doing, right? Are we responding just to respond? Right. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this. The three of us, right? It's interesting when is there any more evidence when you're talking with someone between a person that is listening to talk or a person that's listening to understand? Is there any bigger separation or divide from those two people, right? And so it's kind of what you're looking at here. And we've talked about this in the past, right? It's the quality of the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. It's look, I went through that and I've talked about it on here before, so I don't need to revisit it because Chris, you asked me to talk about it, but I've gone through that myself, right? In searching for a vehicle because I'm no longer running stores. So I'm a retail customer. So I've gone through that before where you're sending information out there and it's amazing at the responses you get back or lack of responses. And really the one thing is you ask specific questions and you don't get answers to those questions. And that's what the second half of this study, 26% of dealers did not include information about the submitted vehicle. Think about that. Customer asks a question about a vehicle. They don't submit any information about that vehicle, right? That the customer inquired about. While this is a 19% better than 2023, it's a fundamental failure to meet consumers' expectation. There's a high expectation. You know why that is? Why is there a high expectation? Because I can find anything I want to find in 30 seconds on this mini computer that I hold in my hand all day long. Mm-hmm. All day long. If you're not meeting me where I'm living, then I'll find somebody that will meet me where I'm living. And that's the bottom line, because it's not that hard anymore. It's not that hard.
But moving from that first point into the second point, Okay. It reminds me of, I was watching the game on Sunday, Philadelphia Eagles, and Saquon Barkley takes off around the corner, first play of the game. And he has 5
50 yards.
guys. Pursuit angles were perfect. They got to the point where they met up with him, and then they didn't finish it out. They didn't execute. And this is the same thing. You know, we've gotten to the point where we can respond to a lead quickly, but what do you do once you get there? And that's where dropping the ball, and that's where all the opportunity lies. Because, once again, we don't think about the fact that if someone sent us a lead, they've also sent it to 7 or 8 other dealers. So you got to be spot on with contacting and making that first impression. What was the old line? You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Never.
And 100%. If that
100%.
first impression has absolutely nothing to do with the question that a prospect asks, or gives them further information they may not know about the vehicle they submitted a lead on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
No, but Ronaldo, the analogy you just gave there, talking about, when Saquon broke down and hammered 5 dudes to take one back to the house, 60 plus, you're right. The defender didn't get in there and get cheek to cheek.
I've been on the wrong end of that deal, so I know what it means to get there.
But the point being is when we take that same analogy from football, because we always talk about breakdown, but as salespeople, as sales managers, as GSMs, as GMs, hell, for that matter, as dealer principals, are we breaking down in the digital space and getting belly to belly, chest to chest with the customer and listening to understand, as John was just talking about a few minutes ago? Comment below. If you're watching this on the YouTube, if you're watching this on Spotify, comment. Let me know what you're doing to break down. Because if you're not and you need help with it, my phone number is right below. I'll be happy one-on-one trading session with you and breaking down and tackling this situation that is still an epidemic. Guys, I'm getting fired up on this. No, John, take back over here, man. I'm about to lose my mind.
No, hey, well, listen, I'm gonna go a step further on Chris with any dealers and any listeners. Look, I'd go so far as that if you're willing to share a little bit of information, we'd be more than happy to, just so we can uncover some of this for you. If you're not sure about any of this stuff, because listen, guys, this is no joke right here. I mean, we're having fun. We have fun doing this, but what we're talking about right now is no joke. This is a major issue in our industry. It absolutely is.
Yes.
We have to do it. Overall, now listen, I say overall because there's some dealerships that are doing extremely, we have several of them as clients. They're doing an extremely good job in this area, and the results show because they're producing the results. But how do I know that this is a major issue? Because we track data in our software on a 2-week sale rate, and you can mirror that data almost identical when we see the trend line of their team contacting customers, because we track that on contacts. When we see those contacts go up, that sale rate follows right behind it. And we've watched this for a while now. So, we talk about work the facts. To me, that's a strong fact. When we're talking to our customers, our sale rate goes up. But when I say talking to customers, I'm not talking about following, a task schedule that says we got a 40-day-old customer, we're contacting them every month. If that 40-day customer is on a car in stock, no. We're contacting them every day, every other day, because we're going to get that. We're going to get that vehicle. We're going to talk to that customer. We're going to get that vehicle sold. So the fact of the matter is, the more contact we have, the better opportunity we have to improve our sales, and not only improve our sales, but improve our sales out of the first 30 days, which is going to bring a higher. And listen, everybody on this call that's in the automotive industry, I'm sure you'd agree with me. The faster we sell our inventory, the better opportunity we have to make a higher return on investment on that inventory. So we got to sell that stuff fast. So this is no joke, right? I want to finish reading these stats off, and then we can go away from this slide. But I want to conclude reading these off because there's a line we want to draw here with what we're talking about today. So 26% of dealers did not include information about the submitted vehicle. 90% of dealers did not include multiple photos of vehicles. Guys, think about this for a second. When a customer comes to your lot, how much time do they spend? The other thing too, how much time do they spend online? How much time do they spend online looking at other vehicles? Looking at, what are they searching for? They're searching for, I want to look at a photo. I want to look at a description. I want to confirm what this vehicle has on it. Hey, listen, do you guys, Ronaldo, Chris, have you ever heard of a customer that went to a dealership and what they were promised on the phone is not what they experienced at the store? Has that ever happened?
Oh, no, of course not.
Never. Yeah. I think it's going to fall in that 90% stat
Right.
that you just threw out there.
So I think I see Brett in the background shaking his head because he's a consumer too. I know that's never happened to him. So
never.
So listen. When you put information on your listing and you're talking to a customer, you got to help them feel comfortable when they're online. Again, I'm going to use some statistics, and I think it's from Cox Automotive, the 800-pound gorilla, right? So those statistics are pretty good, right? The average customer spends 14 to 16 hours online researching.
Yep.
And when they're researching, what are they doing? They're building a picture in their mind of what this experience is going to be like, what that car is going to do for them, or that SUV or that truck, how that's going to look, dry, all that stuff, because we're visual people, and all that stuff's going through our head. And then if I get to the store, or if I'm talking to a salesperson that's reached out to me and providing me information, and what you're giving me doesn't match up to what I'm building in my mind, there's an initial problem, right? So 90% of dealers did not include multiple photos of the vehicle, right? 74% of dealers did not include a price quote in their response. Do you think customers want to know? Look, how many times have we seen when we're digging into helping dealers look at the quality of conversation in the CRM, and the number one question that a customer asks is, what do you feel like I could purchase this vehicle for? Or what are you willing to sell this vehicle for? And then we watch the conversation, and the salesperson sends them everything but an answer to that question.
Yeah. and then they try to figure out why the conversation goes dark.
Exactly.
I don't know what happened.
If you don't answer my question, if I ask you a question and you don't answer my question, what's the likelihood do you think that I'm going to continue that? Ronaldo, if you and I are talking and I'm asking you a question and you don't answer it, what's the likelihood that I want to continue that conversation with you?
Nil.
Right? Yep. Zero. Especially, look, you and I know each other. We go back a ways. So you and I joke about that, right? But if I've never met you before, I'm not sitting in front of you. I'm sitting on your virtual lot. And you're not answering my questions. You got no shot of getting a response from me. None. Right? And so, hey, can whoever's got the control, can we scroll that a little bit down? I want to 91% of dealers did not include payment information. Customers want to know. So listen, guys, this is basic information, right? That the old school days of trying to keep information to customers, hey, we'll share that with you when you get to our lot. Guys, save yourself some time on that old school mentality. That's just not going to work. We're in 2024, man.
John, hang on, John. If you come in, I bet you I get you a better price.
You guys kid me about being grandpa. You guys kid me about being peepaw. That was stuff that I was doing back in the 1980s, man. Look, we're 2024, right? Back in the 1980s when I started in business, guess what, guys? When you looked at a truck, there was no MSRP. There was a Moroni sticker in the window of a truck, but there wasn't a price on a truck.
Right.
Back in the 80s, believe it or not, there was no MSRP listed on a Moroni sticker on a truck. Now, do you find that anywhere today? No, because the manufacturers understand they had to change that, right? So, guys, I know we're making fun of this, but again, I'm going to say this is serious business, and this is what's costing you guys when you know that you have leads coming into your store and your conversions and your showroom is not full of people. This is where you need to go and look and dig into your CRM and look at contact points and conversations going on, because I promise you, you're going to uncover some things that are going to help you start filling that funnel full of customers again.
Absolutely. And probably the best place to start is when you have one of those salespeople that come up to you and say, I don't have any leads. I don't have anybody to work. What do you mean? You got 40 leads in the CRM. They won't call me back. They won't answer my text.
We'll go look in the mirror.
Start right there. Train those folks on how to put together a response that's going to answer questions consumers want to know before you give them an opportunity to ask it. You'll get a response every single time.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Do you guys remember when we did that impromptu Lot Talk podcast from down in New Orleans?
Yep.
I think it was on Saturday. And we were kind of giving a recap of what we saw so far. And you remember I was telling you guys about the dealer that sat there and looked at some of the data we were providing. And he was like, oh my gosh, I could do a better job with my advertising by understanding that lead information. Now, where I'm going with this is, if we were to take care of what John has been sharing with us, what Ronaldo has been sharing with us, what we've been sharing with you, if we were to take care of these things here, dealer principals, GMs that are listening to this call, do you think you really need to go dump more money into advertising? Or do you think you need to recycle your ad dollars and take care of the customers that you have? No, hang on, Brett. Don't drop that. Don't drop it yet. But think about that for a minute. To what Ronaldo and John were just talking about. Ronaldo talking about the 40 ups. And they ain't calling me back. Well, hey, wait a minute. That customer showed interest on a vehicle on your lot. And the messaging that your sales BDC, sales manager, or whomever has been sending out is not resonating. That's where we got to start. That is where we got to start. So that's port one. But John, I want to back up to the invite that you gave the automotive community to reach out to us for us to unpack their stuff. I want to say two things to that. Number one, the invite John's giving you there is at no charge. We want to help you. So reach out to us. We'll talk about it and we'll get your information in so we can show you something like this right here. And John, this was to your point. And unpack this for the viewers for us and speak to it, because it's exactly what you were just talking about a minute ago.
Well, part of what we do is track your 2-week sale rate. So we're going in every morning, pulling your sold data, and we're looking at how many cars you sold in the last 15 days. And keep in mind, we're not looking at a month as you know it. You're working in January, February, March, April, May, those 30-day increments, right? We're looking at every day, we're looking at your last 15 days. Tomorrow, we'll look at your last 15 days of sales, and then we project that forward. So if I've sold, I don't know what the number is at this store as far as the last 15 days. I can't see it, but if I've sold 30 in the last 15 days, then I'm tracking to sell 60 if I keep a consistent pace up. And then what you're seeing, that would be my sell rate in the gray trend line. The red trend line would indicate how our team's contacting our leads, right? Mm-hmm. And so we see a direct correlation. Look at that red trend line and how when it goes down, that means my team's contacting my leads. And look at the gray trend line, right? That's 2-day contact point. So my 2-day contact on my leads is low, And look what happened. Look at the response at the gray trend line. It goes up, right? Is what I was talking about earlier. We're talking to our leads, our sales goes up. So, again, to what Chris said and I offered, if you're willing, and I get it, some dealers aren't willing, but if you're willing and you want to share some information with us and we can talk about this offline, we'll be more than happy for a short term to load things in for you and have a meeting with you and show you how these things are performing and make some correlations with you on how our team, because look here, guys, I'm going to talk about another old school thing, and please hear me out because we're getting deep here, and I don't want you to feel like that I'm saying anything negative about CRMs, because I'm not. CRMs are absolutely 100% necessary tool in our industry, and it evolved our industry tremendously when CRMs come aboard, right? Because it's all about relationship with our customers. That's what we're talking about today. But what I am talking about and what I am going to reference here is how we've always done things, because how we've always done things generate what we're doing, and what we're doing right now, what we're seeing is not good enough. So when I talk about this, because we need to get on, Chris and Ronaldo, we need to start talking about some solutions. So I'm going to bridge that gap for us, right? So guys, if you're just letting your team operate by a task schedule in your CRM that you've put those processes together in that CRM, and you're just letting your team of BDC reps or salespeople operate in that form every day, the data, we talk about this right here, right? Work the facts. The facts are 7 out of every 10 of those tasks have nothing to do with you selling a car today.
Nope.
7 out of 10, right? 70% of those tasks have nothing to do with selling a car today. So what we're trying to uncover for dealers is, instead of working by task schedules, and we're not saying those aren't important, there is a place for those, but that's a D priority, guys. The A priority is, what is factually happening with my inventory, and can I directly draw a path to my BDC or my salespeople to work those customers first? That's an A priority. In other words, if I've got 40 intermediate SUVs sitting on my lot today, and in the last 15 days I've only sold 5, that means I'm tracking to sell 10 in a 30-day period. That's a factual issue on my lot, and I've got to get my sales management team to communicate that to my BDC or sales team, and we got to start hammering and calling those leads on intermediate SUVs every other day, because I got to get my sell rate up in my intermediate SUVs. That's the communication that needs to start happening at your stores, instead of, I got my sales managers over here working deals, praising trades, submitting deals, all things they do. I got my BDC or my salespeople over here talking to my customers, and those two typically don't communicate until a customer stand on my showroom floor. That's old school way of doing things. We got to change that up, and we got to start communicating early on and giving direction to our team, talking to our customers. And I'm getting fired up, Chris. So I'm going to take a break and drink some coffee and let you and Ronaldo have at it.
Whoa! If you getting fired,
old Peepaw's getting fired up, baby.
I'm just getting the organ warmed up.
I was about to testify, baby. No, so along that same vein, dude, there,
it just, we see this day in and day out, day in and day out. We see it every time we get out, meet with a new dealer. What is the number one thing we see? It's this every time. And then we talk about, why is I don't understand why we're selling so much aged inventory, because you're not talking to your customers. That's why.
Right.
Yeah. Along that same vein, Ronaldo, John gave our listeners, he gave our viewers one thing that they could do right now to go improve their business. Let's give our listener viewers another. What's one more?
I would say dig into your processes.
Mm-hmm.
We've already established that we're doing a great job with getting to those leads in an instant, under an hour. But go back and take a look at the messages that you're sending out to contact that customer. I think what the tendency has been is to invest in technology that is going to answer that lead for you. But we haven't thought it completely through about, why am I contacting this customer? Is it just to check the box, or is it to get them going down the road to the sale and to demonstrate that this is where you need to do your business? Because every time I first talked to a customer, and I'm, you guys were successful in selling cars, you probably did the same thing. I always sat down, and the first contact that I had, I let them know who I was, what my intent was, and I also set up an expectation of, when we do contact one another, what do you want me to bring to the table? How am I going to best serve you when you're looking for your vehicle? So
great point.
The one thing that they can do is look at those automated emails that they send out, those automated texts that are going out on your behalf. And are they answering the bell when a customer invites you into their process to earn their business? Do it now.
Great.
Make a difference for tomorrow.
No, that's a huge, huge point there. And I'm glad you brought that up. And you sat there and just talked about just a few minutes ago that a salesperson, man, I got 40 leads here and I can't get nobody to call me back. I can't get nobody to text me back. I can't get nobody to answer my emails. Well, okay, Mr. Sales Manager, Mr. BDC Manager, Mr. GSM, Mr. GM, Mr. Ms. Then how about we go look at what template you're sending out? This is what Ronaldo's talking about. Look at that template. Look at the content. Because when we go back and look or think about what John and Ronaldo was sharing us from that great information that Digital Airstrike sent out to everybody, I mean, the one that stood out to me the most, and I'm going to read it off to us one more time, is when we sat there and 26% of dealers did not include information about the submitted vehicle. Well, this is 19% better. It's still a fundamental failure to meet the customer's expectations. And that's what Ronaldo was talking about, is he is point blank asking and setting the stage of A, what are your expectations, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? And B, setting the stage of how he is going to fulfill those expectations. And that's an extremely good point, Ronaldo, that you bring up, that I firmly believe that we as an industry have failed to go back and revamp, because we've always done it this way.
Absolutely.
Well, to what John, you just said a minute ago, yeah, we've always done it this way. But if I go to the gym and just consistently lift 225 pounds, am I ever going to grow or get stronger? No.
Nope.
That's my limitation.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the gym analogy. You see those guys walking around, they're all top heavy. You got those little skinny chicken legs.
Hey, they miss leg day. You can't miss leg day.
Can't miss leg day. You got to work every part of it.
Every single part, head to toe, and all points in between. Yes, so, hey, listen, I don't want to miss this, guys. We've threw a lot of good information out there today, and listeners, viewers, I hope you took note. But for the listeners that didn't get the opportunity to be able to see what we were sharing, number one, I highly encourage you to go over to the YouTube, and you'll be able to see everything that we talked about here today on the visual side of it. If you don't have time to do that, if you're listening close, if you got a pen handy, 405-234-6402. That is my direct cell number. I will send everything that we talked about today directly to you if you just give me a call or a text. But we had some great questions down in New Orleans. And we had some great questions come in over the last several weeks. And Ronaldo, John, this one I want to close the show out with this last piece here. In the world of AI, what kind of human touches can I do to close the deal? Ronaldo, go.
First contact should be of a person, a human voice, somebody that has a personality, a pleasing voice, a smile on their face while they're talking, because you can always hear that. And if you don't get through, leave that message, and ask, when can we reach back out to you? Return the call. First of all, please return the call. Understand that I am reaching out to you because you submitted a request for additional information. But I want to make sure that I scratch where you're itching. So tell me exactly what it is that you need from me. But then also, lastly, let me know when I can reach you, the best time for me to contact you, and how you would like for me to contact you. If I can have those three things from you, I'll do my best to exceed your expectations.
So that's perfect. So what you're saying is, to the question of what human touches can I do to close the deal, what you're saying is if there's a phone number, use it, pick up the phone, call.
Absolutely.
That should always be the first line.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And
John, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Naldo. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's your first interaction. Don't let a machine set your first impression. Because
John, before I go to you on that, damn it, Ronaldo, I did it again. I'm sorry. You said because.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I want to make sure that the listeners and the viewers understand. We are not telling you there is not a place for AI. There is a very, very significant need for AI. AI is a very powerful tool that you can use. And for our other industry partners that are out there that are on our side of the desk, we are not badgering AI. It's important. You need to have it. But the question keeps coming in. We're using AI. What kind of human touches can I do to close the deal? Anderson, go.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to speak to managers right now. Well, managers and salespeople. I would tell you that the simplest thing you could do right now, the most effective thing you could do right now, the most efficient thing you could do right now is go in and look at your inventory that has a lead on it. Your inventory sitting on the grounds today that has customers on that inventory. That's where I want all my human touches. If you're going to, which I agree, there is a place, there's no doubt about it, where AI can help us become more encompassing and covering more ground. But do I want to let AI have turnover contact with AI to any potential consumer that I have that is active in my CRM that's sitting on a unit that is in stock? My answer to that would be there's no way in the world. So, and I'm going to come back to the bricks and mortar. You got a customer out of your lot looking at one of those vehicles. Are you going to want a salesperson to go out and talk to them live, or are you going to turn that over to AI? So, in my opinion, that human touch needs to be with all those customers that are standing on my virtual lot next to a vehicle I have in stock.
You know, John, you bring up a great point about that brick and mortar, and I'm going to expand upon that a little bit more. To what John said, same scenario. You see a customer on your brick and mortar. Do you want a live person to go out there to them? Or do you want the customer to just stand there and read the window sticker or the used car equipment list that you put on there? No. You want a human being out there talking to them, feature, advantage, benefit, understanding what the hot buttons and buying motives, what the wants and needs are. Because a human is going to discern that better than AI will. We would never, ever in a million years accept that in the brick and mortar. And where we're getting exceptionally more traffic, exponentially more traffic in our digital dealership than we are brick and mortar. Stop, absolutely positively stop treating it like a deficient piece inside your business, because it is equally, if not more important than that customer standing on your lot, because of the amount of activity you're getting in your digital dealership over your brick and mortar.
You want to get
go ahead.
You want to get really efficient right now. Turn those task schedules over to AI. Let your people work on communicating with those customers that you have on actual inventory that's sitting on your lot. If you want to, and again, guys, this is my opinion from what I'm seeing from my angle. And I know AI is going to continue to get more and more developed, and there'll be ways that we can integrate more. But I'm talking about right now, you want to get really efficient. You're using AI. Let that AI take over those task schedules in the CRM to keep constant contact with those customers that you want to have touch points with, and focus your team on working on customers that are still active in your CRM that we have on a unit that's in stock, or an active customer that we can move to a unit. Again, I'm going to go back to the bricks and mortar. Customer walks in your dealership and says, I'm here to see this 2024 Trailblazer, right? I'm here to see this 2024 Silverado, and that vehicle's been sold, right? Are you just going to let your salesperson turn around and tell that customer, sorry, we sold that 3 days ago, Mr. Customer, and turn around and walk away from them? Or are you going to direct your salesperson to move them to another unit in inventory? And so that takes conversation, that takes finesse, that takes professionalism, right? And I'm sorry, folks, but I'm just not convinced that AI is going to be able to do that. I got to have some direct conversation with that customer. And so if you really want to get efficient and really make a difference, that's where I think you can make a difference at.
And John, I'm going to respectfully correct you on it, on one piece of it. It's not an opinion. Come on, P-Paul. I wasn't sure if you had your morning nap yet. You may be a little foggy.
I got to tell myself earlier. Listen, I not only have you and Ronaldo coaching me and all over me about being P-Paul. So earlier I was talking and I go, hey guys, it's 2024. I get a text and my wife texts me, laugh out loud, hey P-Paul, it's 2025.
I didn't even catch that. That's awesome. Love Miss Tanya.
Yes, indeed.
So, but no, I'm gonna correct your verbiage on one thing, listeners. I need you to go back and think about what he just said. He said, in my opinion, you should take the AI and put it on all your active leads that aren't on cars in stock, or all of your tasks. He said, my opinion is you should do this because in my opinion, you're going to get this. No. That's the part I'm correct. I'm going to tell you it's a point blank fact. 100% fact. When we put 100% of our human touch energy on active leads with cars we have in stock, we will sell more cars and make more money. And we prove it day in and day out.
Yeah.
As I showed on the screen a moment ago, that dealer that is turning 65% of their inventory every 2 weeks is because his contact with his customers that are on cars in stock is minimum to none. So that is not an opinion, listeners. That is not an opinion, viewers. That is a 100% fact, because we work the facts every single day. When you take care of the customers that are active leads on cars in stock, you will sell more cars, make more money, and you will do it quicker, and you will turn more than 100% of your inventory each and every single month. It's a fact.
Preach.
Be careful, man. You gonna open up that wound on your forehead.
Come on,
down.
come on.
Calm down.
So,
hey, I just want to point something out. Just listen, guys. If you got 100 cars in stock, that dealer's tracking to sell 130. Just so we're clear, there, you just said 65%, right? So if we got 100 cars in stock, right, that dealer's turning 130%. They're selling 130 on 100 in stock. Tell me how that would be.
Yeah.
How that would be for your dealership.
Yeah. And how many times do we have a dealer we'll talk to them, and you're carrying 100, you're closing what, 75, 70?
Oh yeah.
And they come in and they're grinning like a chess cat. How'd you like to flip that and double that up? And all you
it's still run gross, Ronaldo.
Yes, sir. And all you got to do.
Yeah.
Talk to those customers.
Talk to your customers.
Man, guys, this is something. I mean, my goodness, folks, we could talk about this for 8 hours, but if
and
we do.
Oh, well, actually, technically we do. I mean, yeah, technically we do at Lotpop. I mean, with the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people we talk to every week, I mean, this is what we talk about. We talk about these improvements and we find those holes. But regardless, I mean, guys, we shared a lot of great stuff today from Digital to Airstrike. We shared some great stats from Cox Automotive. We shared some stuff that we do here at Lotpop, because these are factual pieces of information. There is zero subjectivity to it. It is 100% objective.
Yep.
I implore you to take advantage of the invite John has given you, that Ronaldo gives you, that I give you, that we as Lotpop as a company give you. Reach out to us. LotTalkPodcast.com. You can find all of our information there. If you're viewing the screen right now, my phone number, John's phone number, Ronaldo's phone number there. John, 30 seconds or less, recap the day before we close out.
Talk to your customers. Hey, listen, I'll throw this in there. If you guys look, I know there'll be some folks listening to this or watching this that don't agree. And I love that, right? Look, I got big shoulders. So look, reach out that way too, man. If you want to challenge anything that we brought to you today, let's have a conversation, because I'm all about learning. If there's a better way and I'm missing something, please, we're trying to help us so we can help other dealers, right? So, to recap, just, contact points with your customers and have quality conversations. If you're sitting in front of somebody live, listen with the intent to help, right? And understand, and do the same thing virtually. So that's what I would say. And challenges if you want to.
1,000,000%. Ronaldo, 30 seconds or less. Recap the day, sir.
Oh, gosh. The biggest way that dealers out there can get a little bit more out of what they're doing on a daily basis. Just take this information from Digital Airstrike. You got to respond promptly. You got to give detailed information when you do respond and answer the questions that the customer provides. But then you also have to provide options. Do those three things, and you will just get exponential improvement over what you're getting now, And I apologize. I had a couple of conversations while we were in New Orleans. What you guys do is so complicated. No, it's not. We find the facts, we work the facts, and it just going back to the basics. Back to the basics.
1,000,000%.
There's a reason why Amazon. There's a reason why Amazon's so successful, right? Ronaldo options.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
all day long. Here's my recap. At the end of February, we run a free university at Lotpop HQ in Olathe, Kansas. Everything that you've been listening to today in our previous podcasts, in our live events from NADA 2025, I invite you to take full advantage of the free university that we have coming at the end of February. And you could get more information by reaching out to me directly. Take advantage of what we want to continue to give you. And let us spend 2 days with you at a free university to be able to stitch these things together and give you a solid plan as we go into 2025, John, and we take this bull and we wrestle that some bitch down to the ground. You could do it with the free university and stitch all this together. I challenge you. Come to the free university and steal some nuggets from us. I challenge you to come to the free university and challenge us that we're wrong. Come check us out. On behalf of John Anderson, on behalf of Ronaldo Leonard, on behalf of the Lotpop family, thank you for tuning in to Lot Talk, powered by Lotpop. Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch us same bat time, same bat channel. Reach out to us direct. LotTalkPodcast.com. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you guys.